One of the first things that I want to talk to you about is Ukraine. Why is it important for the United States to continue to support Ukraine?
I think the reason why the United States should continue to support the military in Ukraine as they fight to defeat and repel the Russian invasion is because it's in our national interest to do it. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I believe that if Vladimir Putin and the Russian military overruns Ukraine, it will not be long before they cross a border of a NATO country where our men and women in uniform would be required to go and fight. Thanks, Clemson, New Hampshire, and Iowa State. I really do believe that if Russia overruns Ukraine, that'll give a green light. That'll give a green light to China to move against Taiwan. And quite frankly, if we don't check the efforts by authoritarian regimes to redraw international lines by force, the rest of the 21st century could look a lot like the first half of the 20th century. There are voices in our party, Meg, that suggest that we have to choose between securing our border, reviving our economy, and unleashing American energy and being the leader of the free world. I think that's a false choice. I think we can do both. And anyone that says that we can't solve our problems here at home and be the leader of the free world has a pretty small view of the greatest nation on earth. We can do both. America is the leader of the free world. If we're not leading the free world's not being led.
I'm not likening the oustership of the House Speaker to January 6th, certainly.
No.
But events like that, do you think that that does signal to our allies and other countries abroad that perhaps the institutions of U.S. government aren't as static or established as they might seem?
Well, look, as I said, January 6th was a tragic day. There was a riot at the Capitol. But thanks to the courage of law enforcement, the riot was quelled. We reconvened the Congress the very same day, and we finished our work under the Constitution of the United States. I honestly believe that a day of tragedy, as the world watched, became a triumph of freedom, because our institutions and our Constitution held. Now, what's happening on Capitol Hill is happening under the rules of the Constitution and the rules of the Congress. To me, it's still unwelcome news, because at a time when so many Americans are hurting, to see the Congress turning inward on divisions, which ought to rightly be resolved at the beginning of the Congress. Then you elect a speaker, and then you move forward. And I'm disappointed by the news, but to your point, I would not liken it to that tragic day 2.5 years hence. Well, I haven't agreed with every recent decision that's been made at the Pentagon during his tenure as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but I honor General Milley's service to the country, 4 decades in the uniform of the United States. And frankly, what Donald Trump said about him in that tweet about treason and death was utterly inexcusable.